you are trying to reach. 97.3 ESPN is the most listened to sports source in all of South Jersey. That's what makes 97.3 ESPN such a powerful station for your business's message. So this Eagles season, don't have your business sitting on the sidelines. Be a part of the Philadelphia Eagles season on 97.3 ESPN. To be a part of the Eagles season, call Market President Mike Rubel at 609-910-5249.
South Jersey's play-by-play home for the Eagles,
touchdown,
Sixers,
it's good,
and Flyers.
Oh, big save by Carter Hart.
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City, a Town Square media station. This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app. Now, live from the Matt Black Kia Studios.
Oh, what a move!
Here's Josh Hennig.
Monday edition of Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennig hanging out with you on a Monday after the Phillies get some wins this weekend. Plus, latest from Eagles and training camp to get to this hour here on the Power Hour known as Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennig hanging out with you. Andy McNamara will join us coming up in about 20 minutes from now. We'll talk some NFL with him as we do throughout the football season. As always, you can join the conversation at 609-403-0973. That is the text board. You also can DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. So we got to start with the Phillies here because aside from the fact that I was thoroughly happy that the Phillies won this weekend was the fact that I liked the reaction of the general population of people. And here's what I mean by that. You look around Major League Baseball, you realize that not every team has passionate fans. You look at the situation where you go to different cities, right? And you realize that not every town in America cares about their team as much as Phillies fans do, all right? For better or for worse, some of the most passionate fans on planet Earth are from the Northeast, all right? You got teams like the New York Yankees, the Boston Red Sox, the Philadelphia Phillies. They're some of the most passionate fans on planet Earth come to baseball. But unless you're from a city like Chicago or St. Louis, you don't have the intensely passionate fan base you're going to get in a city like Philadelphia. The Arizona Diamondbacks, the Colorado Rockies, the Miami Marlins, even the Atlanta Braves and the Texas Rangers and the San Diego Padres, they don't have the die-hard, passionate fans like Philadelphia does. And even with that reputation, even with that hanging over their head, I was thoroughly happy to see Philadelphia fans cheer on Trea Turner this weekend because it was an amazing example of how Philadelphia fans don't have to fit the stereotype. And Trea Turner showed you that not everyone functions the same. Not everyone can respond to the same type of criticism. You know, one of the smartest things I ever heard was when I was listening to Nick Saban when he was on that show. It was him and Bill Belichick did that HBO show. And Nick Saban said, talking about how, it's great in theory to say you treat everyone the same, but you literally can't always treat everyone the same. And Nick Saban is an example of why some coaches are successful and some are not. Because Nick Saban says, look, I can't treat someone like Bryce Young, my Heisman Trophy quarterback, the same as I do my offensive line, Tyler Steen, who's now with the Eagles. So because of that, how you treat players as fans might be a little bit different as well. And I thought Trea Turner responded in a way, and it was really funny to listen to all the reactions. And now people are trying to say that it didn't have an impact, when we all know it did have an impact because he brought billboards, for goodness sake, thanking the fans for loving him and accepting him. But guess what? They're only loving and accepting Trea Turner because they did the same thing for Alec Boehm last year. Remember, Alec Boehm was the guy who was caught on camera after making an error saying, I bleep and hate this place. And he owned up to it when he was confronted about it. He apologized. And the next day, the fans cheered him. Well, what did Trea Turner do last week? He had that horrible error at shortstop in the Marlins game. They lost the game. He said, I lost the game. It was my fault, on me. And the Philly fans appreciated it. And then all of a sudden, he relaxes. He's not gripping the bat as tight. He's not swinging as hard. And he has a great weekend at bat and in the field. And I love what the guy said to me next to me at the bar. I was out on Saturday night. And the guy told me his name was Steve. Nice guy, him and his wife, wonderful people. Met them down in Wildwood. And Steve basically, and I'm paraphrasing obviously for radio purposes, but he basically said, take that, you negative people, about Trea Turner. Because after Trea Turner hit the home run, people were cheering, people were happy. But this one guy decided to let it out of his system about the negativity. And I think that his perspective is correct. Because, and this is one of the reasons why I love meeting you guys who listen to 973 ESPN. I love going out and about and meeting people, because to hear different points of view. And we are so inundated in today's society. We are so inundated by what is said and done on social media. The likes, the clicks, the retweets, the hearts, the whatever platform you're on, the thumbs up. And we try to interpret the entire world through that lens. Well, the problem is that places like Twitter, and in some cases Instagram as well, a lot of these places are full of people who have a lot of negative worldviews. Everyone and everything that they hear and say is bad, is stupid, they stink, they're the worst. And they never have anything constructive to say about anything. And it becomes the worst possible place for you to have a nuanced conversation. Look, we all can agree that Trea Turner has had a horrible year. For a guy who's basically a career 300 hitter, he has had the worst year of his life. We all can agree on that. No one disputes that. But what is for dispute is the person who says, well, Trea Turner is batting, what is he batting now? 238 on the year. And he's making $300 million. He sucks. They should have never paid him. That's the person I have a problem with. Because the person who says that fill in the blank ball player shouldn't get paid and they stink is probably also the same person who blames his high school coach for not letting him get more playing time. Trea Turner doesn't stink. He's a Major League Baseball player. He's doing something that only a small percentage of the population can do. And I appreciate what Steve said next to me at the bar on Saturday night. He said, that's for all the negative people. That's what Trea Turner, good for you, Trea Turner. We are happy for you. And you saw the way Phillies fans reacted. That's the passion that we talk about when we talk about sports fans. We're not talking about the bandwagon fans who rooted for fill in the blank team, cough, cough, Yankees, Cowboys, etc., because they were winning championships. We're not talking about the fan who roots for a team because someone they went to school with or someone from their community went to play for that team, like Isaiah Pacheco with the Chiefs, who I had no idea until Mike Gill told me an hour ago on the Sports Bash here on 97.3 ESPN. Josh hanging out with you on a Monday night. I had no idea he was top 25 in jersey sales. That just shows you how passionate South Jersey people are and people in Vineland are, that they love this guy so much that they're buying so many of his jerseys. I'm not talking about those kind of fans. I'm talking about the person who you were born into a family and an environment where all you've ever cheered for and all you've ever rooted for are the Phillies or the Eagles or the Sixers or the Flyers. And all you know is you want your guys to win. You want your guys to be successful. And sometimes believing in someone can go a long way. Having faith in someone can take the next step for them. You know, I was listening to the Hall of Fame speeches on Saturday, and among the people who were speaking was Rondé Barber. And Rondé Barber just got into the Hall of Fame. And he talked about how his defensive backs coach was Mike Tomlin. And he said, I think, and obviously I'm paraphrasing because I'm not reading quote for quote, but it really sat with me when he said, I thank Mike Tomlin for seeing what I was able to do before I was able to do it. That he had a coach in the Bucs organization that believed in him so aggressively and so intensely that he said, wow, you really big. It's one thing for any of us to grow up and say, I'm going to play in the NFL. And then 98% of us realize we're never going to play professional sports in any capacity, right? But it's one thing for us to have dreams and hopes and aspirations. It's something else for someone to come along and say, I don't just believe you can be good. I believe you can be great. And in some ways, what Rondé Barber had in Mike Tomlin, Trea Turner found this weekend in the Phillies fans. Because the Phillies fans didn't treat him like a pariah. They didn't treat him like the problem. They treated him like, Trea Turner, we want you to be successful. Because if you're successful, our team is successful. And if our team is successful, we're happier. And if we're happier, everything in our world is better. There is nothing like walking down the street and having people say, go Birds, go Phils, wherever you go. And you don't get it everywhere in the country. And I just want to emphasize, we have to appreciate the fans out there, the people like you listening on 97.3 ESPN, people like Steve at the bar I met on Saturday night. People like Jeff in Ocean City chime in at 609-403-0973 says, Josh, Philadelphia is the greatest sports town in America. You don't find that passion everywhere. You only find that passion in pockets like Philadelphia, Buffalo with the Bills, St. Louis with the Cardinals, Kansas City with the Chiefs, Alabama football, Alabama versus Auburn at the Iron Bowl, SEC football in general, you could argue. There are pockets of extremely passionate fan bases that just make you appreciate the game more. And even though the Phillies game tonight is postponed, and they'll do a doubleheader tomorrow, okay, that's the report that came out because of the weather warning tonight, but the storms are passing through the area. By the way, the Philadelphia Union game was postponed as well, for those who care about soccer. Now the U.S. Women's World Cup team is out of the running in their tournament. But overall, it's disappointing to see that your team is on a, playing well and they're not playing tonight. But I will disagree with you, Andrew Summers' point when you say we are stuck with Trea Turner for 11 years. That's why he got cheers. Andrew, I think it's more than that. I think there are some Philadelphia fans that finally realize, like Steve exclaimed at the bar in Wildwood on Saturday night, sometimes being negative, it's exhausting. It takes more muscles to frown than smile. There's empirical data that says that. And there are studies that show it takes more brain energy to be negative, it has such a strong impact on your physiology than being positive. Sometimes having a little faith and believing in somebody can go a long way. All right, coming up next, talk more Phillies as well as Eagles throughout the hour. 609-403-0973 is the text board. You also can DM the show through the 973 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle. More text coming in, but coming up on the other side, Andy McNamara talks NFL with me next. I'm Josh Hennig. This is Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM and 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle.
This is the radio home for Philadelphia Eagles football. The Eagles open the 2023 preseason this Saturday night in Baltimore against the Ravens.
Up the middle, he's in for the touchdown.
Oh, straight ahead.
Eagles radio network coverage begins at 6 p.m. with Merrill Reese and Mike Quick calling all the action starting at 7. This is where the Philadelphia Eagles play. 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's official Eagles station.
Oh yeah, it's on at Matt Blatt Nissan.
If you're currently stuck in a loan or lease, AJ the Trademan can get you released. Matt Blatt Nissan.com. It's on at Matt Blatt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township.
So you're in the middle of a kitchen update, and you can't tell if that's a faucet stem or a flange. With the Home Depot app, doing doesn't miss a beat. It'll find what you need in a snap, and it'll show you how to find it in store with a tap. Or get it delivered free. For doing that doesn't stop, download the Home Depot app. It's made for doing.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hey, this is Josh from 97.3 ESPN. If your air conditioning isn't keeping you cool, or if you're worried about sky-high electric bills, I recommend you call Jenkins Plumbing and Heating today about a new system from American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning or a Mitsubishi ductless system. Take advantage of financing of up to $15,000 from South Jersey Gas or Atlantic City Electric. New AC system can save you 25 to 35% on your AC bill. Call Jenkins at 609-641-6440, online at jenkinsandsons.com.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right.
Y'all gotta try that Febreze car.
Just right, just right, just right. Yeah. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency, all over Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place.
And conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stopped, opt out. Go to nomoredraftywindows.com for full offer details.
Attention all homeowners. Do you know when to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? It's time to replace. Fog between the glass. Time to replace. Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's definitely time to replace. If you've put off replacing windows in your home because it's too expensive, here's great news. You can now get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen, the company with the most 5-star reviews among leading full-service window replacement companies. And right now you can save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. Just text PLACE to 200-300 for your free consultation on top quality affordable windows or patio doors for $0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for a year. That's right, you don't pay a dime for an entire year. Plus save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings end this month. Text PLACE to 200-300 right now. Text the word PLACE to 200-300. Don't wait, text PLACE to 200-300.
A toast.
To our new college grad who fills us with so much joy, almost as much as when we're in our RV. Oh, the world is your oyster, kiddo, and ours too. Now that we're covered with Progressive, Dad and I can hop in our RV anytime we want. Might even splurge on a retractable awning. Ooh, look out. Sorry, what was I talking about?
Protect your loved one with an RV policy from Progressive. Take as little as 4 minutes to see what you could save at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Sail into summer in New Jersey. Stroll boardwalks or soar high on the rides. Enjoy iconic shores, history, and culture. From dazzling cities to charming countryside. Find it all at visitnj.org.
You're listening to GameNight with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile.
Don't forget Game Night being brought to you by Jenkins and Sons. One call does it all. No need to call the drain guy, the heater guy, or the plumbing guy. Just call Jenkins. If you are tired of high electric prices, or you feel like your air system, it's been a long summer and you're worried about its long-term sustainability, call Jenkins about how you can save money on your electric bill with updating or replacing your air system. 609-641-6440, and visit them online at jenkinsandsons.com. Well, you know, it's football season when we have Andy McNamara on multiple times in recent weeks, as we are getting closer to Andy being on every single week here on 97.3 ESPN at AndyMC81 on the Twitter sphere, and he joins us for another edition here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. Andy, welcome back, my friend. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, brother. How are you?
I'm doing well, but I got a gripe to pick with you.
Oh, okay.
Because, so we were talking on the Sports Bash Mike Gill earlier today. I'm the producer for him before my show at 6, right? And the top 50 jerseys sold. Not a single Brown on the list. No. None. Zilch. And to me, Browns fans are like one of, I mentioned before you came on, there are like these pockets of like passionate fan bases, right? And the Browns to me are supposed to be one of them. And how does DJ Moore and Baker Mayfield have more jerseys sold than any? Baker's number 50. Baker's 50. DJ Moore's in the 40s. No Deshaun Watson, no Nick Chubb, no Myles Garrett, nobody, nada. How does that happen, Andy? You're the Browns fan. Explain this to me.
Boy, Josh, my only explanation is that Browns fans over the years have wasted so much money on the 40 starting quarterback jerseys that there's no money left. They used it all up. It's all. I'll tell you, for me, I refuse to buy a current or active Browns jersey. I have my vintage, not like I didn't buy it then because I wasn't born, but 1980 Cardiac Kids Brian Sipe Browns jersey MVP year, signed by owner Jimmy Haslam. That's my only jersey. That's it. I personally will not buy the other ones. I think Nick Chubb, though, could be coming when he's said and done, because I'm shocked Nick Chubb isn't in that top 50.
I mean, I would have thought either Chubb or Garrett would have been up there, but
Watson with all the stuff.
Watson with all the stuff. Well, I'm wondering though, did Browns fans decide to buy Baker's jersey, like have a collection? Like, are there Browns fans that like got Baker with the Browns, Baker with the Rams, Baker with the Bucks, Baker with the Panthers? Like, I'm sure there's somebody with a wall like that, right?
I got my Baker, the Funko Pop thing. I got my autograph Baker stuff, all that. Oh yeah. I hope he rebounds. Otherwise, I don't know what the heck I'm doing with this stuff.
I mean, listen, if let's get that real quick. If Baker doesn't win the Tampa Bucks starting job,
retire. You're done.
I mean, he might as well just go hang out with Johnny Manziel at his bar down near Texas A&M. You know, Johnny Manziel opened up a bar outside of College Station. Yeah.
Oh my God, this guy's a disaster.
No, he's a genius.
What a disaster.
Because what he did is he's capitalizing on the only place he still has cachet.
A bar. Oh, no, the location. The idea is great, but what a mess. I told you before, I got into a Twitter beef. Johnny Manziel challenged me to a fight on Twitter. And then he blocked me. I said, hell yeah. I'll sue him. That'd be great. We should all be so lucky. Take a swing, Johnny. I'll take your grandfather's oil money. Thanks.
You guys should have gotten on one of those, like, Jake Paul cards or something.
Oh, man, I would do it. Look, man, I do my DDP yoga, right? I'm I'm spry for a
for a what?
for a 42-year-old.
I'll have to come up and train you for the fight.
That's right. Yeah, you train me. I got 30 seconds of fury. I'll take on Johnny. Come on, Manziel.
I mean, but back to Baker, it's like, how does this guy go from winning the first Browns playoff game in like 25 years to basically being run out of town and replaced by a guy who has been labeled a predator of women?
Yeah.
And then he goes to Carolina and he just like falls apart. And then in 4 days after being cut, he has the most ridiculous game on Thursday Night Football, revives his entire reputation, and now he's in Tampa battling with Kyle Trask for a job?
Yeah. Kyle Trask. Like, again, if you don't beat Kyle Trask, it's over. It's over. It's done. It probably should have been already. The thing is, it's like it went south so fast in Cleveland for Baker, and part of it is his own fault. He's a highly competitive, very, when he does well, he rubs people the wrong way. He is an egomaniac, and you have to have it sometime at that level. He's succeeded, but it was the new regime, the new coach. That wasn't their guy. We see it all the time. I personally think there was some level of sabotage keeping him going out there with that shoulder injury, and he got run out of town. I'll always have a soft spot for him, man. Broke the win list. Remember, he opened up the Bud Light fridges in Cleveland after that 0-16, 1-31 stretch. Had the playoff win, so he'll always have a special place for me. But I think, being run out of town, there was some shenanigans to make it easier to move on from him.
Yeah, I mean, the other problem with Tampa is, they are in the worst division in football this year.
Yeah,
and we know they have good players in that team: Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, White on defense. You got tons of studs on that team. They should be competitive.
Yeah.
But it's like, dude, like, can this team get out of their own way? Like, I have people who covered the Tampa Bay Bucks tell me Todd Bowles is on the hottest of hot seats.
Oh, he has
among coaches this year. Like, there are people who are surprised he didn't get fired last year.
I wonder, though, Josh, like, for the situation that they put him in this year at quarterback, like Todd Bowles doesn't pick the quarterback. Like, I love me some Baker, but it's not like you're putting the coach in the situation to succeed with players that are getting older. And you're right. You do have enough pieces where if you slot in the right quarterback, you can do some damage, and you can certainly win that terrible NFC South. Come on. Like, that division just sucks top to bottom. It's terrible. There's not even a wink of a team in there that will even sniff the conference championship. It's terrible.
It's amazing to me that for as much as I want Tampa to be good this year, I can't pick them to win the division. If you're
I don't
asking
know if you pick anybody.
Well, the only team I can rationalize is the Saints.
And they always get in their own way too.
Well, because the thing with the Saints is that ever since Sean Payton left, nobody really knows who's in charge. Nobody knows who's running things. You're waiting for someone to step up and say, I'm the captain of this ship. And it's like, nobody's actually doing it. And like Derek Carr, by the way, Derek Carr is top 20 in jersey sales right now, by the way.
Good
That
on
tells
him.
you how crazy
He's a nice
Saint
guy.
fans are. Fans are like, we have a quarterback.
Like, that's not our tight end. Yay. That's not Taysom Hill.
Right.
Good Lord. Taysom Hill, I'm telling you, as long as Taysom Hill is on this side of the grass, he will ruin your fantasy team somehow. Somehow, Taysom Hill, every year he's alive, will ruin your fantasy team. It's like clockwork.
Well, the best thing is Taysom Hill might lose you your fantasy team, but he can win you money. Because in sports betting, there are so many times that I've come on different shows here on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennig talking with Andy McNamara on Monday night. Andy's joining us on the Elite Acura hotline. How many times have I come on here and say, Taysom Hill plus 600 to score a touchdown? Boom. Yeah. It's just like, you're good 4 times a year for an anytime touchdown winner with Taysom Hill.
It's Taysom Hill with that, and what Boston Scott's
versus
touchdown
the
against the Giants. That automatic. As sure as taxes and death, those two other things go along with it. Bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. But Josh, really, if you look at it, if Derek Carr is the best quarterback in your division, that's not a great division. And Derek Carr, look, he gets dumped on a lot. Derek Carr is a good middle of the road, steady Eddie quarterback. He might be able to do some things there. But, outside of the year where he broke his leg, I think, 2017, where he was really good. And there's lots of circumstances. The Raiders were gong show, and he led the way. By all accounts, a really good dude. But outside of that, man, like Desmond Ridder, Bryce Young, who unknown, right? Looks like a baby out there. And Baker Mayfield / Kyle Trask. That's not great.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm serious. I feel like I'm leaning to the Saints just because. Like, I just feel like.
Yeah, it looks like the most. I'll use the word stable loosely, but like the most like, okay, at least you have a quarterback that has done it, can do it.
Right.
The rest are all questions. I'll tell you this though, the Atlanta Falcons kind of fascinate me a little bit, Josh, because of their was it Arthur Smith with the positionless, the kind of the free offense that they're talking about, where you're not a tight end or a wide receiver, you're just out there. It's very like gimmicky college, but I kind of want to see it in practice and if they can actually stick to it. And I'll tell you this, for fantasy football, end of your draft, single QB leagues, I always try to get an extra quarterback. Get Desmond Ridder. I think that guy with his legs could do a bit of damage, and I loved him coming out of college, Josh, from the standpoint of every report was that guy was super mature. He had the IQ, football IQ off the charts, looked like a 30-year-old from his football knowledge and how he carried himself, has the size. And I don't know. I'm just getting a vibe that I want Desmond Ridder on my bench, on my fantasy team, just in case. I think we could see a little something there.
I'm so conflicted on Ridder because on the one hand, I just don't know if he's an NFL quarterback. But on the flip side, I just look at Atlanta and I think if they're going to run Bijan Robinson as much as we think they're going to use him, I mean, Ridder might not be bad because
Right.
I mean, the problem with him is if you go back to watching him in Cincinnati, Ridder was not like this elite quarterback with an elite arm. Like when Jalen Hurts came out of college, we saw him throw for all those yards and be, top 5 in the country in completion percentage and be the Heisman Trophy runner-up. Desmond Ridder was just a good quarterback who wins in college. Like to me, he's like, I mean, and I feel horrible saying this, but I mean, he's like 2 levels above Ken Dorsey at University of Miami back in the day. Okay, he's athletic, he can run around, and he can throw a little bit. Like I don't understand how this organization is enamored with this guy.
And maybe that's what we have to wait and see this year, Josh, right? You bring a guy in for a couple games, we know how it is, right? You didn't get a camp, you didn't, that can go good or bad in various directions. Some pop and it doesn't work. Now you got a full camp. Right. Now he has weapons, but Atlanta is still so weird because they're not good, but they have pieces, but they're not good. But they have good pieces. You know what I mean? Like it's a very strange situation, and it goes back to that really bad division. And you know what? Like, I don't know. Let's say, if it's not the Saints or the Saints struggle or implode or whatever, like it's kind of a pick 'em out of everybody else. Like, I don't know. I wonder what the odds are for Atlanta to win the South. Maybe we want to sprinkle a couple dollars on it, Josh. I don't know.
Mentioning of Jalen Hurts. So, Andy, obviously one of the things you do is fantasy football. And I want to ask you, this is a weird year in fantasy football because historically the conversation has always been, and I was listening to a bunch of different shows mention this weekend, and I thought, well, Andy and I started talking about this a couple weeks ago. I wanted to bring it up again with him. Historically, it's always been get your running back, get your receivers, then get your quarterback.
Yep.
But in today's fantasy football, some of these quarterbacks are worth more than these running backs. And I'm starting to wonder, once you get past Travis Kelce, Christian McCaffrey, I'll throw in Nick Chubb just because he's a touchdown machine, right? After you get past like the top 5, top 6 guys, Justin Jefferson, do you consider drafting a guy like Jalen Hurts in the first round?
Boy, it's, you know what? It's not as crazy a thought as it would have been even a year ago, right? It isn't. the earliest quarterback going right now is, in general, ADP average draft position is Patrick Mahomes, 15th overall. So that's in 12-team redraft leagues. That's your second round. Typically, though, you wait to the 4th round or something, right? To even think about starting, and you get your guy later. And I still think you can get your guy later. But when you look at a guy like, okay, well, Jalen Hurts, where do we put him fantasy-wise in comparison? The consensus right now is Mahomes, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, then Joe Burrow. And Jalen Hurts is going 24th overall. So that's kind of like end of the second round, which to me, man, you know what? Like, I love, like, me and you were on Jalen Hurts, and I'll keep spouting this to the end of time. We were on it before it was cool. And I got Jalen Hurts on my fantasy team way before it was cool. Do I want him in the second round? Or can I wait and get a Justin Herbert 43rd overall, who's the 6th quarterback going off the board? Can I wait and say, okay, well, hey, what about Trevor Lawrence? Is he going to give me the absolute upside of Jalen Hurts? I don't think so, but it's always that cost. If I get Jalen Hurts in the second round, who am I missing where the difference might not be as great if I got a Trevor Lawrence, maybe even an Aaron Rodgers, right? If you want to really roll the dice, Deshaun Watson. That's a gamble because we don't know. But that's really where it comes in. When you draft a player, you always have to keep in mind in a position, what are you missing? And how are you going to backfill that position that you didn't get?
That's the problem. I don't know. I don't know how to, like, it sounds crazy for a guy on a microphone on a sports radio talk show say, but I don't know how we win fantasy sports anymore because it's turning into the most roulette situation on earth. I mean, for example, I play fantasy baseball, right? I drafted Sandy Alcantara at the beginning of the year. He was so bad through the first 2 months of the season, I dropped him. On the month of July, he was absolutely on fire.
Oh.
And I'm sitting there staring at him on the waiver wire. And I'm like, do I pick him up again? Do I keep him there? Like, what do I do here?
Right.
And it's like with football, it's the same thing when it comes to drafting. Like, you look at certain people and you're just like Kirk Cousins, right? Kirk Cousins will probably never win a Super Bowl. All right.
No.
But he can win you your fantasy league.
Yep.
And it's like, well, what point do you just bite the bullet and say Mahomes, Hurts, Herbert, Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, Justin Fields, who else am I forgetting here? Aaron Rodgers, like Josh Allen, they're all gone off the board. And you're staring there and you got your wide receivers and your tight end and your running backs, and you're sitting there and you're pondering life like Dak Prescott or Kirk Cousins. What do
Josh,
I do here?
Look, and everybody, and that's the thing. You have to take out the real life success. You're right. It's Kirk Cousins. He can't win primetime or big games. Doesn't matter for my fantasy team. I don't care. I'm not cheering for the Vikings. What do I care? But what I do know is that last year he finished as a QB9. This year, you could get him as the 13th quarterback, 106th overall. So imagine that. Imagine you're still getting, he'll go 13. He'll finish above guys like Tua's going before him. Tua's not finishing the year. He's going ahead of Tua. And he might go ahead of Dak too, as far as like overall result. So you get, let's for fun say you take Kirk Cousins 106th overall. The team you can build while other players in your league are taking quarterbacks who will probably have better fantasy points, but you can stack your guy and say, okay, I have my starting wide receiver, starting running back, starting tight end that I feel great with. And while I'm not in love with Kirk Cousins, he's going to, if I can get a top 12 finish, top 10 last year, is that not better to do and fill out those other positions where maybe I go and get one of the top running backs when those other people who took a quarterback have to settle for somebody in a committee? Something to think about.
That's the other part of this. I mean, the Eagles are one of about 20 teams that are going to have a running back by committee this year. And it's like, you know, I saw people, they're taking bets on like DeAndre Swift over under rushing yards is like 525 or something like that.
Oh,
you know, and like that just tells you the state of running backs. A guy I mean, that dude was like a 5-star recruit when he went to Georgia. Honestly, if it wasn't for the COVID year, like I've talked with, Emery Hunt from CBS Sports.
Yeah.
He's talked about like if it wasn't for the COVID year and Swift had a chance to work out for people, he would have been a first-round pick instead of a second-round pick in 2020. And you just look around at a guy like him, and you're like, that guy can't even crack 600 potentially in our projections. It's like, what are we doing? Like, look at a team like Dallas. Like, they cut Zeke to save money, but their backup is Deuce Vaughn. And you're like,
who looks hilarious, by the way. Hilarious.
He's so small.
Like, it honestly, Josh, is like, take a kid to work there. Like, that is like, look, I'm not taking away heck of it. You got drafted to the NFL. You're a heck of an athlete. But man, like, that guy's going to die on the field. Like, good Lord. You're telling me a defensive end gets a hold of him coming around the edge?
Well, look,
those feet better be quick.
They are quick. But the problem is that your feet being quick doesn't always guarantee first downs. Especially, I always I always argue, like Billy Schweim has a show in the weekend show in the locker room on 97.3 ESPN. And he always tries to tell me big guys beat up on little guys. I always say, well, big guys can only beat up little guys when they can catch little guys. The problem is in the NFL, there are other little guys to catch little guys. So it's not even the 300-pound guy who's coming for you. It's the 200-pound gnat running a 4.2 coming at you 100 miles an hour to take your torso off. He might be able to get your head off, Bill, and try to impale you.
Yeah, well, Josh, we see at the combine every year. You see these defensive linemen and ends. You're like, that guy, and then he runs like a 4.8. You're like, oh my God. Or a 4.6. My God, like he could eat Deuce Vaughn like as a kebab.
You almost said Deuce McAllister. You almost said it.
I did. But look, you know what? It's a great point. You bring up about Tony Pollard and Dallas, and well, I want to think with Tony Pollard. Okay, well, he's going to get his shot, and it's a franchise tag, and the backups are not great. But this guy is still coming off of an injury. Like, if you're to keep it with fantasy for a sec, like, where am I going to draft Tony Pollard with thinking he should be the guy, with thinking he should be able to do it, but still not having a full camp? Like, that makes me nervous. Josh Jacobs is still, a what's going to happen, right? So it's, man, the running back position is really bad as far as like the reliability of who is getting the ball. And that's why, again, if you don't get one, you're going to be chasing them. But what's still surprising is that wide receivers, Justin Jefferson to a man, is going first overall. And I can't blame people. I think he's that good.
I mean, I would take Kelsey number 1 overall, but that's just me.
Ooh, well, okay. You know what? I love your thinking. And I'd say I'm saying reach for Kelsey, not that he's not deserved, but a lot of people don't take that tight end spot. Here's the thing. Again, with the scarcity, if you don't take a star, you will be joining us on this show every week using hashtag Ask Andy, Josh, saying, Andy, who do I take with my tight end? I said, well, who'd you take in the first round? And you took Patrick Mahomes. Well, that's why, because you could have taken Kelsey. The tight end spot is so thin, him, and then you're guessing afterwards, right? So if you don't take a Kelsey, let's say in the first round, you're guessing at that position outside of a couple others. Everybody else has question marks. One day Kelsey's going to come off the mountain and go down. This year, I don't know. I'm going to chance it because what are my other options? Like Josh, TJ Hawkinson, legit, is probably the second most reliable tight end. TJ Hawkinson this year. That's life. That's where we're at.
I think the bigger question we need to ask you, Andy, is before I let you go, if the pillow fighting championships were tonight and it's you versus Deuce Vaughn, who's winning that?
I'd take on Deuce Vaughn and Johnny Manziel, brother. Let me tell you. Give me 2 pillows. I'll smack both those little gnats around.
You went brother on me.
I know. Listen. So on ESPN, it was on the Ocho over the weekend. I was down in Rock Hill, South Carolina. I just love saying Rock Hill. It's great. And cornhole capital of the world. But Josh, the Pillow Fight Championship took it by storm. There's been articles. It's been trending. There's like millions of views on social media. It was absolutely nuts. And the reason why, so you're in a boxing ring, you have like a designated pillow with like a handle. And Josh, the first fight, a guy came out, he did a no hands cartwheel, came over the top and smashed a guy over the head with the pillow. And I'm like, what the bleep? It was crazy. Check at Fight PFC on social media. Guys, I'm telling you, like, you'll laugh. You're like, oh, but I talked to all these fighters, Josh. They're all trained martial artists. like they all have this background. They're using these different styles. It's so intriguing when you dive into it. But Fight PFC, they're going to be doing more with ESPN. They're going to be doing more all over the place. It is fascinating and it's tons of fun.
And you were there. You were there.
I was there in person. I was interviewing the fighters. I was going around. I was talking to the fans. A fan got out of the crowd and had a pillow fight with one of the fighters in the crowd. She cut a heck of a promo right after. It was amazing. I was like, okay. The champion who won, she's called the German Tank, Julia Dorney. She's like thin, but she was also a sumo champ. She showed me video. It's absolutely wild. It was crazy to be there. There were chants going on. And people had never even seen these fighters. It was like the old ECW. They're going, PFC, PFC. It was really Pillow Fight Championship. It's coming, man. It's here and it's getting bigger. So
basically this thing was made for you because it's like it's a combination of two worlds. Yeah. It's like it's the pro wrestling theater of the arena combined with real athletes who train. Like it's like you were born for this, Andy.
Yes, it's true. And those pillows, man, like I put some pictures up on at Andy MC Sports on Instagram and at Andy MC81 on Twitter. Like you see the ring, you see the atmosphere. See, I put a ring girl picture up there too, fellas. It's all good. And we see all the fighters though. It's absolutely nuts how these people go. And the violence with the striking of the pillows, like Josh, I know it's like, it's pillows. When I saw some of these people get hit in the head, like, I think I'd be down. Like, I think I'd be out from that shot. It's really cool. At Fight PFC.
Also at Andy MC81 on Twitter. Give him a follow. Andy, appreciate you jumping on today, my friend.
All right, buddy. Talk to you soon.
Josh Hennig here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. Andy McNamara's appearance on the show brought to you on the Elite Acura hotline. Visit Elite Acura during the summer, a performance event located on Route 73 North in Maple Shade, online at eliteacura.com. Back to the text board, next 609-403-0973. I'm Josh Hennig. This is Game Night on 97.3 ESPN.
You haven't downloaded the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app? Well, go get it now to follow all the Philly sports teams at 97.3ESPN.com. Powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Sail into summer in New Jersey. Stroll boardwalks or soar high on the rides. Enjoy iconic shores, history, and culture. From dazzling cities to charming countryside. Find it all at visitnj.org.
Okay, class, our first lesson is math. 0 + 0 + 0 equals...
One heck of a great deal.
The math is simple at Matt Blatt Kia. Put 0 down, pay 0 interest, and make 0 payments for 90 days on every new Kia in stock. Or get up to $8,000 off MSRP on every 2023 EV6 GT in stock. Stuck in a loan or lease? Matt Blatt Kia can get you released so you can drive your new Matt Blatt Kia with 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 90 days. And we finance your future, not your past. Even first-time buyers can drive with peace of mind with our exclusive 4-day love it or leave it return policy.
It's gotta be a Matt Blatt Kia.
With approved credits, not all will qualify. Go to mattblattkianj.com for complete details or 888-505-6670. Price includes all costs to be paid by consumer, except for licensing, registration, and access through Apple. Fees 36 months at $27,000. The Tier 1 customers expires 9/5/23. Matt Blatt Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township, and now on Route 37 in Toms River.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Go to nomoredraftywindows.com for full offer details.
Attention all homeowners. Do you know when to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? It's time to replace. Fog between the glass. Time to replace. Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's definitely time to replace. If you've put off replacing windows in your home because it's too expensive, here's great news. You can now get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen, the company with the most 5-star reviews among leading full-service window replacement companies. And right now you can save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. Just text PLACE to 200-300 for your free consultation on top quality affordable windows or patio doors for $0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for a year. That's right, you don't pay a dime for an entire year. Plus save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings end this month. Text PLACE to 200-300 right now. Text the word PLACE to 200-300. Don't wait, text PLACE to 200-300.
Okay, next time you're at the store, I dare you to not think about the unmistakable fresh, clean scent of Irish Spring. Yeah, you heard me. I want you to resist picturing a shower filled with those sensational Irish Spring suds. And if you succeed, well, you got what my gramps used to call resolutitude. Not a real word, but let's be honest, you're probably going to end up leaving with Irish Spring because of its irresistible scent and because you have zero resolutitude. Pick up Irish Spring at Walmart today.
A toast to our new college grad who fills us with so much joy, almost as much as when we're in our RV. Oh, the world is your oyster, kiddo, and ours too. Now that we're covered with Progressive, Dad and I can hop in our RV anytime we want. Might even splurge on a retractable awning. Ooh, look out. Sorry, what was I talking about?
Protect your loved one with an RV policy from Progressive. Take as little as 4 minutes to see what you could save at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who pay attention to every little detail. The ones who fuss, tinker, and sweat the small stuff. Because you know the tiniest thing can make the biggest difference when it comes to keeping business moving. We get it. We're the same way, offering access to product experts to help you quickly and easily find what you need. So whatever your industry, you know you're always getting professional-grade products. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Your luxury BMW experience is closer than you think. Take advantage of exceptional savings at BMW of Atlantic City. Stop in and shop your favorite models, including the new BMW 2 Series, X3, and more. We're sure to have a vehicle that fits your needs. And with Acceleride, purchase your vehicle online and we'll deliver it directly to you. Looking to trade? We'll pay top dollar for your current vehicle. Experience luxury today at BMW of Atlantic City, closer than you think. In Egg Harbor Township, shop our complete inventory online at bmwatlanticcity.com.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
All right, wrapping up the hour with your thoughts and comments on the text board. 609-403-0973 PM into 97.3 ESPN. Mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Let's first start with Shaner and EHC says, Go Birds rang out in London during our honeymoon versus the Jags in 2017. Go Birds. You're on point, Josh. That's from Shaner in EHT. Yeah, Shaner, you know what I mean. It's the idea that, and it's not that you can't count them on one hand, all right? But there's different tiers of fans in sports. And for me, I think one of the greatest things about being born in Philadelphia and living in an area like this, for someone like me at least, is that I never had to be around fans who were indifferent. Like, you go places like Atlanta or places that, like, Minnesota, that they look at some of their teams and are like, yeah, whatever. And then when the team's good, they all want to show up at the arena. Philadelphia, New York, Boston, Cleveland Brown fans, Kansas City Chiefs fans, St. Louis Cardinal fans, Chicago Cub fans. These fans live and die with their team. I mean, even, passionate people are about the Dodgers out in Los Angeles. It's ridiculous. So there are just certain pockets you just got to appreciate the fans, what they bring to the table. Andrew from Summers Point followed up and said, Josh, I just need to see a couple of games in a row from Turner, not a good game here or there. That's very fair, Andrew, and I don't disagree with that. For me, I'm not saying that Trea Turner is back. It's like the old college football thing. Every year Texas is back. The U, Miami is back, and then they're not. Like, I'm not doing that with Trea Turner. I'm just saying, Andrew Summers' point, that sometimes a little positive reinforcement can go a long way. And I appreciate the Philly fans saying, you know what? We're not going to get down on this guy. We're not going to boo this guy. We're not going to we're not going to make this guy's day worse. We're just going to tell him we believe in him. We're glad he's here, and he benefited you. Now, look, if he goes ahead and bats 200 for the month of August, then yes, Andrew, at Summers' point, you're right. It is just a game here or there, and there's nothing for us to get too excited about. But it doesn't mean I can't be excited and appreciate when it does happen. It doesn't mean I can't walk away and be like, that was awesome. I mean, that home run that he hit, the reaction people had in the stadium, where I was at in Wildwood, it was just ridiculous to hear that kind of reaction. I mean, the entire game Saturday was just a load of fun because You had the Harper bomb. You had the Turner blast. And apparently the Phillies are now 9-0 and they hit 3 or more home runs. Maybe that's the key for the rest of the season. If they can just be hitting more home runs, they have a chance to win every game, right? Don't forget, there's no Phillies tonight. That game has been postponed to tomorrow for the doubleheader. So, what are you guys watching tonight? Let me know tomorrow what you guys watched. I'm a little conflicted. I'm kind of bouncing back and forth a couple shows. So I might have to pick and choose. I don't want to. I'm Josh Hennig. This is GameNight. Get you tomorrow.